Sunlight begins to fade now, and I feel like I'm losing time, but I don't know how I'm here. The sunlight has turned to gray, and I feel like I'm losing love again. I don't know how I'm here. I could feel your heartbeat. I could feel somewhere you're looking down. I could feel your heartbeat. I could feel somewhere you're looking down. 'Cause it's you I'm loving, and it's you that I wanna breathe. And it's you I'm loving, and it's you that I wanna need. And I know now we're getting older. The world we built is slipping through our fingers. We're running out of time. But you are the one I've chosen, and I won't lay still, living left behind, imprisoned by this love. I could feel your heartbeat. I could feel somewhere you're looking down. I could feel your heartbeat. I could feel somewhere you're looking down. 'Cause it's you I'm loving, and it's you that I wanna breathe. And it's you I'm loving, and it's you that I wanna need.
Wrong mic. We are finally here. We have finally made it to the Saturday E3 stream, and my god, is there a lot to cover today. So just quickly, what we started with was all of the main press conferences according to GameSpot. Going through the GameSpot videos of all of them, so I didn't catch Devolver Digital, didn't catch PC Gaming. I don't know why they don't cover them, but they don't. Hey Moa.
What?
Was the PC Gaming show, was that the same format as normal?
I didn't even watch last year's one, to be honest, so...
What was the format? Was it still a talk show, like, late night show format?
Something like that.
Yeah,
I don't really know that format that well, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Gamer seemed to be more like a stage show without an audience.
Wait, what? Who's this?
The
No. Who?
the PC Gamer.
Ugh.
Yeah, something like that. They're talking about the games to the camera and people that is out in the audience that showing off gameplay, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. All right. That's disappointing at best.
Well, they are talking about the game with the devs, so it's like pretty much like the format of the rest of it, but on a smaller scale.
Yeah. Look, ultimately, I'm really disappointed with how they structure the format for the PC Gaming show. Every year they do it as a like late night talk show style, and it doesn't match the theme that is there. That they're trying to. It doesn't match the theme of the rest of the show, is what I'm trying to get at. And there are other shows that did very similar, which I'm very disappointed at. One second. So, I know that a couple of people sucked. I wasn't a huge fan of particularly... where are my notes? Here. Scroll to the top. Square Enix was not a great show.
Nah.
But then again, they do the Nintendo kind of esque Nintendo Direct kind of feel. They didn't show anything off realistically that we didn't already know was coming. So what did we get? We got Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which we knew was coming because of the Microsoft press conference beforehand. They did show a little bit of the gameplay off, which was cool. It's more stealth focused, which makes this game look amazing. I do want to play this game, but I have to go back and play the one beforehand, because I'm still one behind there.
Wow.
You and me both.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider is good.
I've only played the first ones of the remakes, so... actually...
Xbox Game Pass, it's on there.
All of them?
Yeah, but first on Xbox Game Pass.
Give me one quick second. I think I have it on disc. I don't.
So Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah, so we'll have to give those a play. I'm currently just trying to get a stream going.
And it's fun.
How do you get into... Huh. Which integration? Okay, so I don't know what the Discord overlay was. Ah, there it is.
Okay.
I'm trying to get the Stream Kit overlay on. Currently, it's being a piece of shit.
And your green screen looks like shit.
Yeah, that's because it's green screen.
Yeah, I've seen better.
It's not that, it's more lighting. I have a shit lighting setup. E3 discussion. Yeah, that'll do. I just need to set up a not window capture. Add a web page browser. E3.
And I
And then logo, add it again, browser, listing E3. Oh, gross.
what?
Just the gross formatting. Oh, that'll do. Alright, so now that people can see who's talking and when, let's Moas with the subscription
Get better lighting.
that I don't have on this overlay.
Oh, you idiot.
This overlay's weird because I haven't had really enough time to set it up properly. So going through these notes, yeah, so Square Enix showed off Final Fantasy XIV, which has already been out for several years. They just basically released a patch video. Apparently they get that with every patch, so the fact that they saved it for this is kind of surprising. But that being said, they've also got a crossover event with Monster Hunter World, which has also been out for like a year. They showed off The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, which is a game in the... It's in the same universe as Life is Strange. Life is Strange was a fantastic game, as Brownmeister can attest to.
Oh, I absolutely agree with that. I
Yeah.
still haven't played Before the Storm though, but the first one is definitely worth a playthrough.
Yeah, no, I never even finished the first one. I loved the first one of what I've played, but because it was episodic, it came out over time, I never got around to playing all of it. The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, I don't know whether I'll play it, to be honest,
I broke the first game. I played it.
but we'll have a look.
According to your notes though, it's, and I don't know if we're going to cover this later, it's going to be free to play, so
Yeah,
I'd
let
say
me
why
just-
not?
Let me get the trailer for it. The Awesome Adventures of One Direction. Ew.
Look
Alright.
at Just trailer instead.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Alright, so we're just going to switch over. I'm going to kill the Discord while we watch the
Yeah,
trailer.
go for it.
Oh, I can't connect to the... I should probably have tested that I could connect to the system.
You are smart.
I have to portray it through, and I don't have the setup currently. Control.
Oh, as my power does go up, Brown, my phone has unlimited data. And calling and everything else. I love contract phones.
If my power goes out, it's NBN. It's got its own power.
I don't even know if our internet has own power.
As in, it's got its own battery to run.
Yeah, I don't know if ours does.
Oh.
got-
You're saying you're one of the people that got into NBN early enough to get one of the
No.
battery backups.
Our property
Ah.
was one of the really early ones that has those really dicky batteries.
Right, which they don't add to any new property anymore.
As in, listings on their website don't even list the type of battery. We had to go to a specialist shop and buy it.
Wow. And I live in New Zealand where fibre is in most towns, unlike Australia. Lol. Yeah, I'm always rub that in people's faces.
Oh, that's why I didn't have that button checked.
As you work out eventually.
I'm still trying. Options. Wipe that password out. Save.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the E3 discussion setup stream.
This is what happens when I set this up like 4 days ago and closed the application and haven't launched it since.
Yeah.
And
That's
naturally,
Captain's Secret.
the goddamn software doesn't want to read into hello.
Yeah,
Oh.
this happens somewhat frequently. Where if
So
you find
the-
something new, it breaks.
The stream program actually died. Just crashed out.
Oh, you should have ran a test stream earlier or something.
I should have.
I've seen about 3 or 4 live streams of E3 discussion. They've all had similar problems and things just not working.
Yeah,
Oh, it really
different
is,
format. Alright. Theater mode, fuck it. Alright, we'll just play it how we didn't want to do it, but fuck it. We'll just do it anyway. Alright. Mostly because, unfortunately, I can't get the Kodi program working. I'll save that again. No. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, let's watch the Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit's trailer.
Okay.
Quick restart.
Spirit of my silence, I can hear you, but I'm afraid to be near you, and I don't know where to begin, and I don't know where to begin.
It's just me, Captain Spirit. This is Chris to the Flying Fortress. Have you spotted Snowmancer? Not yet. Keep me posted.
Chris, breakfast.
Okay, Dad. You're drinking beer?
I don't need a lecture from my son.
I always get picked last for the team at school, and they never throw the ball to me.
They can't tell stories like you can they?
No way. Start the launch. Too late! Emergency!
You're too weak to fight me.
This time, you won't get away from me. I miss Mom's smile.
Me too.
Nobody's friend,
You're probably gonna change the world.
I hope so.
I know so.
really down.
Captain Spirit is here!
I think you're a vision.
The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit. Download for free from June 26th.
Alright, so that's pretty much Captain Spirit. I didn't undeafen myself. So that's pretty much Captain Spirit. I'm not a huge fan of how it's telling its story in that, because I don't think I'm going to be a fan of the story that it's trying to tell. But that's personal preference. Where you will... It's just a personal story. Like, I don't see that coming out very well with me. But I did love Life is Strange, and that was, again, a very personal story. And it was a very different kind of game that I don't think many of us were expecting when we saw that and played through that. That it was just going to hit home so hard. So I know that Brownmeister, however, is probably looking forward to that one, though. Captain Spirit?
Yeah, so that's the first time I've watched that trailer. I don't know how I feel about the story yet, but being free to play, there's going to be no reason for me to play it, especially since I really did love Life is Strange Season 1.
You mean any reason not to play it?
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's coming out completely free to download. So all of the episodes will be free to download. I don't know whether they'll be all available at the same time, but at least the first episode comes out June 26th. So that'll be
safely
early.
assume that they're going to be split up.
One would
So
assume.
episode 1 would be next. It's like a week and a half away.
It's 10 days away from today. So today's the 16th. In 10 days, The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit will come out, available. I do not know where, but I know it's coming to PlayStation because that's where we just watched the trailer from. It'll be coming to Xbox and it'll be coming to probably PC. So
Xbox One, PS4, and PC.
cool. That's what I thought. The other things that Square Enix just quickly covered off: Dragon Quest 11, with a September release date on the 4th of September, but I'm not a fan of JRPGs, so we probably won't cover that too much. Babylon's Fall. No one knows what the fuck that is.
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Babylon's Fall. So Babylon's Fall, it's some medieval game, but it was nothing more than a teaser. So based on a teaser, no one can really work out what the fuck is happening. So we can't base anything out of that. Nier Automata is coming to Xbox One on the 26th of June, as is the Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit. So we've got another game there that's coming out this month, but that's been released on PlayStation 4 for a while. It's just now that it's coming to Xbox.
There's also a computer too.
Speaking of PlayStation and Xbox, I will come back to that in a minute. There was some very interesting news that came out around a particular PC game. But I'll cover that a little bit later once we're
I
finished.
think I know what you're leaning towards.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know.
Octopath Traveler, which is a JRPG, coming July 13th, exclusively for the Switch. Then we've got Just Cause 4, the ridiculous, over-the-top action game that a lot of people do love. It's based in South America. Has an extreme weather mechanic, so like El Tornado will just come in and just fuck shit up. Cool. Coming out December 4th, 2018. But we don't know a lot there that's just going to cover that off for us. But we do know it's coming to all the platforms as well. Not Switch, because it's going to be ridiculous requirements.
My computer can barely play Just Cause 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we've got 2 more games from Square Enix. The Quiet Man, which nobody knows what is. Again, teaser. There's no information, but more information is probably coming in August, when they've actually got something to show. And then Kingdom Hearts 3, which everyone knows, everyone is expecting, and we'll cover that a little bit more later on. But ultimately, for me, Square Enix was very lacking in its press conference. There was no crowd engagement. It was very much just a Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
And it seemed very slapped together, and it seemed like they didn't care to do anything. That they did it out of obligation, less out of let's actually show off awesome.
Yeah.
So that was disappointing on that side of things.
I'm gonna definitely have to look into Just Cause 4 though. I completely missed 3 apart from playing it at PAX a couple of years ago, so
It's
I
been
never
out for a
got to
few
play
years.
the full game. Yeah.
But I've never played it either. I
Last
know
one I
that
played was
I've got brothers
2.
that have played the shit out of 3, but I've never played 3, so I can't make that call. I never played any of the Just Cause games, to be honest.
I only partially played 2, but I think 4 I might have to look into more because it might actually be really good.
I just know that it's ridiculous and it's over the top and just everything explodes. So
That's all the games. I just want to see how much further they're going to push it.
yeah, I mean, it's Just Cause. So now let's go back to the top of this list. So we'll start with EA. And actually, we've got a trailer queue. We had a trailer queued for that, but it's not queued anymore because
Huh.
everybody hates
Lucky.
us.
Feels like you.
Okay, so we're going to show the Anthem trailer just quickly. Because Anthem is the very first game that EA showed off. It looks it looks pretty cool. There's a couple of mechanics that I want to discuss after we watch the trailer, just because of how they seem they're going to work. But we'll discuss them in a minute after we watch the trailer.
The gods vanished and left our world in chaos, creating, altering, destroying. The Anthem is all that remains.
There's a storm coming. These walls can't protect us forever.
Something is out there. It wants to destroy us all.
Alright, so that's the Anthem trailer. I need to get that to stop. Oh, I can't.
Pull you down.
So that's the Anthem trailer. There's a couple of things that I really like about Anthem coming up. Oh, bother. There we go. So a couple of things that we really like about Anthem is that it's co-op for one. So it's 4-player co-op, at least when you're out in the world. There's a mechanic in that co-op because it's a BioWare game. BioWare isn't known for multiplayer games. They're known for single-player games like Mass Effect, Dragon Age, games like that. So we don't expect the co-op to be terribly great, but the story will at least be captivating and very interesting there. The only problem is that there's a multiplayer world. So when you're out in the world, you can play the game co-op with friends, up to 4 people. But once you go back to the Quest Handin area, similar to what the tower is in Destiny, then we could have a very interesting problem because that's a single player experience. So I'm very, very curious as to how they intend on pulling that off. Because for anything that I've seen, that doesn't sound like it's going to do very well, because it sounds like at that point you go out, you do your missions with friends, and then you come back to the tower, and then you disband the party and have to reform it again when you're ready to go. So, anybody got any thoughts on that? It sounds like it's a very weird mechanic.
I haven't barely played many BioWare games, so
You've never played Mass Effect or Dragon Age?
tried. Emphasis on tried.
they're generally chat-heavy games, so games that are very based around like the dialogue wheel and whatnot. And we were having a discussion at work about the dialogue wheel and how that you can make a choice and say something that you completely didn't want to say because you don't have enough context around the question that they're going to
wording
ask.
on the dialogue wheel is never enough to say what the character is going to respond with.
Absolutely correct. You don't know, and in some cases, you could royally piss off somebody, and when you really, really don't want to. But that's because the dialogue wheel is vague, and you don't know what you're going to say afterwards. You know what you want to say, given what answer you want to give, but you can't necessarily always give it. But that being said, there's a couple of bits and pieces in here. When they were showing this off, they did say that this is a dynamic world, and it's a shared world, which means that everybody playing Anthem at the same time will see the same weather and the same world. So
That's interesting.
if it's raining in one person's game, it'll be raining in every person's game across the world. So it's not just you and your 4 friends that it's raining for, it's everybody that's currently playing Anthem in that area. So that'll be very interesting to see how they can pull that off. They also made a comment when they were talking about the game during the E3 press conference, which is that the world is trying to kill you. Now, that comment was very interesting to me because basically that's just me turning around and going, "Welcome to Australia."
Oh yeah.
Australia is naturally just trying to kill you, just with nature, animals, whatnot. Some more information that we do know. So we know that the suit of armor that you're wearing throughout the entire game is there to save you from the environment. So the environment is actively trying to kill you, and human beings aren't exactly strong enough to survive an onslaught like what we saw in the trailer where someone's coming down to smash your face in with a giant boot. Even the armor suit, so the suit wouldn't help you there. It's very akin to a Jaeger, but like single man Jaegers from like Pacific Rim or whatever else is what I'm thinking.
What do you mean?
The very first enemy though in that trailer, did anybody catch what it looked like?
Nope. I wasn't particularly watching.
I missed it.
Let me just try and get the frame there. So this is what I'm looking at, and the enemy in this reminds me very much of the Fallen in Destiny. Very spiky, and the way that their eyes are, it very much just reminds me of how the Fallen look in Destiny 2 and Destiny 1, so we'll see how that goes. That being said, we know that that you're going to be up and around, you can fly and whatnot, but the game is also not designed for single player. When you're out in the world, it's designed to be played multiplayer.
Yeah, from what I was looking at in the gameplay trailer, it looks a lot like Destiny in a way.
In a
with
way,
4 classes instead of 3 primary.
Yeah, there's 4. So we've got more classes. We've got 4. We've got a Ranger, which is a general jack of all trades. A Colossus, which is a heavier, tankier build. An Interceptor, which is faster. And Storm, which is very akin to a Warlock in Destiny. Lightning and whatnot. Lightning and flying and stuff like that. It's very interesting to see how everyone plays, but you can basically... One thing that they've said is that because you're a pilot... Titanfall, that's what I'm thinking of.
Never really played that.
Titanfall was a great game, but they're way smaller Titans. They're generally, you fit in them and your arms control... Like, you're not just in a bubble in their chest. It's your head is their head and stuff like that. Your legs are their legs. You fit in a
they're
suit.
called javelins, and they're more like exosuits or something like that.
Yes, very much so. It's very interesting though, because the Colossus suit reminds me of the Hulkbuster armor in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yep.
Just that it's bigger and you can move around a lot more. You're expected to carry bigger weapons and do more damage essentially, because you have the ability to carry something heavier in combat than you otherwise normally would be able to. We know that. Yeah, so to play this game single player will be more difficult than to play it multiplayer. So that being said, that does actually kill off a little bit of BioWare's intended audience, because it's a BioWare game first and foremost. And BioWare is not known for multiplayer games. They're known for single player games with fantastic stories and all the rest of it. So if it's anything short of a fantastic story, this game won't do terribly great for BioWare. So yeah, that's where life is going to get a little interesting for BioWare. They've turned around. They have turned around and said that the javelins are customizable to a degree that we've not seen in other games. So the level of customization in this game is something that I've never seen before. It's not just that you can change the skin of it, which is what you could normally do in video games, but in this one, you can change everything. And I mean, you can change the geometry on your suit. I'm assuming just a small amount, but you can change the geometry of if you've got an extra like added tiny little bit here or there onto your suit, which looks very interesting. They didn't show off that, but they did announce that during the E3 press conference. So we'll see how many different customizations options we have. But I do know for a fact that there was a N7 armor example that was shown off during that. So it looks like you can play as Commander Shepard. That being said, they've turned around with Anthem and said that there's no loot boxes whatsoever. But there will be cosmetic items that you can pay real money for. They won't affect gameplay, but they will affect cosmetics of I'm assuming your suit and stuff. That being said, while you can buy those, you should know what you're getting, is what I'm pretty sure the statement was.
It's nothing to affect the game. It's not gambling or anything, so it doesn't break any of the new laws either.
Yeah, it doesn't affect gameplay. It's just cosmetic changes, so it won't do anything on that regard. So hopefully it should be fine. We'll find out a little closer to release, which is February 29th. EA tends to cover a whole bunch of like sports games. We'll get to them in a minute, just to hash through them. They did say, they of course mentioned that they're bringing out Battlefield 5, the new game in that franchise, which is a World War II era game. Has Battlefield hasn't been in World War II since... has it ever been in World War II?
I don't think it has.
But unless Battlefield 1 was, I don't think Battlefield has ever been in a World War II universe.
Battlefield 1942 was the original Battlefield.
Right, yes, okay, yeah, I'll pay that. Battlefield 1942... Battlefield 1942 was the original?
Yeah, that was the very first one.
Man, Vietnam feels older. Battlefield Vietnam has more Like, it's straight up, you can kill somebody with an M16 across the map by putting the reticle on their head. It's pinpoint accuracy. We know that the single player is coming back as akin to what was in Battlefield 1, so it's war stories. That's a really good addition to have, and I feel like it does the Battlefield franchise justice to tell the stories of soldiers that went through the war. Don't just tell a random story. A la Call of Duty. What the fuck is that? Because, of course, Battlefield 5 is vehicular combat. It's going to have stationary weapons that, like, an anti-air gun, an gun that would normally be static in the world. This time around, you can actually hook it up to the back of your truck and haul it across the map if you want to. I don't know whether you'll be able to shoot from it while moving it, but we'll see. The destruction engine is more powerful than ever, of course. If you're hiding in a building as a civilian, you see a tank coming, you better run, because it's coming. It'll tear down that wall. Couple of bits and pieces though here. This actually shows you just how dire EA is in, how dire the straits EA is in after they brought out Battlefront 2, the Star Wars game, recently, because they've actually made an advertising point of no loot boxes and no premium pass, which diverts quite a bit from the Battlefield games since Battlefield 4 that's been in. No, 3.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that would be true.
3 had a premium pass.
Yep.
They're also putting in a Battle Royale mode. Like, why, guys? No one cares.
Because Battle Royale's the 2018 thing to do.
It's a cash grab at this point.
It's a meme at this point. But yeah, no, you're straight up. It's a cash grab. We know it's coming out in October, but I can't remember when. Yeah. I'm not terribly interested in it, to be honest. There's not a lot there.
Going back to the Battle Royale thing, EA said the reason they're putting it in is because it's fun. They didn't say it's because of cash grab, but I'm pretty sure players will figure out otherwise.
I mean, it's EA.
It's EA. If it's not a cash grab, then it's not EA.
EA's motto is it's all about the play, but EA's motto, according to Reddit, is it's all about the pay. They took out an L in play. I mean, considering that Battlefront 2 came out so horribly, that's not surprising. That it'd be that badly received. But we'll see what happens. Just gonna scream through some games here. FIFA 19, stop. Okay, so FIFA 19, Madden NFL 19, and there's FIFA 18 had a World Cup update, cool. And then NBA Live 19, stop releasing games every year. You don't need a full release for every year for an incremental update. Give it 2 and release a $30 like roster update every year.
Like a yearly pass type thing, kind of like what even games like Rainbow Six Siege are doing now.
Be a bit more like Farm Sim and release it every few years and alternate between consoles, kind of thing.
This one would actually be a case of, this would be a good games as a service platform.
Absolutely,
to go with.
I agree
not
with that.
A full release of $60 to $100 every year. $60 to $100 every year is ridiculously pointless. It's just expensive and there's no reason.
Yeah, that's why I never really played that type of game, really. Too fucking expensive.
Hang on, is Real Stomp Panda still in chat? Or is he gone?
I don't know.
I think he's gone.
He's gone.
Yeah. Alright.
He's gone.
Whatever. Good riddance to bad rubbish.
Burning him.
Yeah,
You think I should have banned or just done that?
I don't know what you did, so.
I just told him, fuck you.
Eh.
It pissed me off. I would have told him off properly, but.
A couple of people are bringing out streaming content to their games. So we're starting to see content like EA is bringing out a streaming service where you can play any of their games across any device, like your phone or whatever, regardless of if you are at home or not. Microsoft is also doing the same thing on their front. So I don't know whether that'll be any good, but I do know that several publishers are doing that at the moment.
Speaking of which, did you hear about the Fortnite controversy?
Yeah, okay. Since you brought it up, let's actually discuss this shit. Naturally, being Sony. So Fortnite came out, and Fortnite was basically... It's already available on Xbox, PC, PS4, and Mac, and mobile. So Android and iOS. Alright? If you're on Xbox, you can play with PC, mobile, Mac. If you're on PS4, you can play with PC, mobile, Mac. But you can't play... But the two consoles can't play together. Alright? Now, fast forward to E3, we now see that Fortnite is coming to the Nintendo Switch. It has been downloaded 2 million times in the past 24 hours that it has since released on Switch. So, the first 24 hours after it released on Switch, it was played, like it was downloaded 2 million times. So, fantastic job, guys. You did a great job, and we'll see how that works out for you in the future. Then we move ahead and we see that they've released Fortnite on Switch, and then Sony's turned around and said, yeah, we're not letting you play with this. Xbox, however, can play with Switch.
Yep. And
if you have a PS4 Fortnite copy, your account cannot be signed in on the Switch whatsoever. And because
otherwise they banned the whole Fortnite account.
They don't ban it.
What? Nah.
It's just not signing. You just can't sign in.
Yeah.
No, people have been reported that they've been banned on the Sony network Fortnite, and they can't sign in on their account on any other device if they link it to a Switch.
That's extreme. I haven't heard that.
What the fuck?
Hang on. Fortnite ban Switch to PS4. That being said, Fortnite's developers, Epic Games, have accidentally allowed PS4 and Xbox One to play together before.
I think it's Rocket League as well.
Yeah, the guy, Psyonix Games, the guys behind Rocket League, they can basically turn that on in a heartbeat as well.
Yeah,
but no, Epic Games
have put it into their games. They just don't have permission to turn it on, thanks to
Sony
builders of the consoles. There,
Microsoft is fine. Switch is fine.
with it.
Sony's not, but Sony's leading the market.
Yeah.
If we're ever going to see crossplay happen, people need to either leave PlayStation en masse, and then that would be Sony's reaction, or B, it's the next generation of console. That's the only thing that'll cause this to happen. Realistically, we're not going to see much in that. But yeah, no, everything I'm saying here is basically saying that your PS4 account, you just can't sign in on a Switch whatsoever. And because...
Yeah, because what I was seeing earlier today was they were actually locking those accounts.
They weren't... okay, so the statement here that I've got from Kotaku is that they weren't locking the account out. They're not banning the account. They're just saying that you can't sign in on the Switch. You can still sign in on your PS4, not on your Switch. which everyone is pissed off with Sony about this, because for Fortnite, people wanted to basically put it onto their Switch and basically take it with them when they went out to do errands or catch a bus or spend 7 hours on a train. They wanted to be able to bring their Switch with them and play Fortnite on the go. And they can't do that because Sony's turned around and said, no, we won't let you do that. We won't let you take your account with you. And for Fortnite, apparently, without playing it, a lot of people are annoyed because Fortnite's a game that's very heavily focused on progression. So that's a very interesting move by Sony that has pissed off a lot of people from based on what I've seen. I've seen a lot of coverage on that story. But previously, so the Xbox 360, PS3, we knew that the architectures were different. Maybe it's not possible. Now we know that that's not even a thing anymore. It's actually possible because we've seen it happen. By accident, yes, but it actually happened and it wasn't a bad experience for anybody involved. So that's that. There's a new Origin Access tier called Premier, where every game as they launch, basically it's Xbox Game Pass, but for Origin. So as a new game releases from Origin, if you have the Xbox, the Origin Access Premier, you can play it then and there. Xbox is doing the same thing, where if a new game comes out by one of their first-party publishers, it'll be immediately on or the Xbox Game Pass straight away. So cool, games come out. I'm not paying $60 to $100 for a game that I'm only going to play for 8 hours across 2 weeks. So saves me a shit ton of money. I pay maybe $10, $10-15, and I can play it for a month or their entire catalog. So that's not terrible. We're going to cover a couple of bits of Star Wars news.
Okay.
Hey, Treyway. Yeah, I've got chat open now. So
Yay!
it was sitting behind another window, so I'm trying to keep too much going. So at EA's press conference, we saw a very interesting, actually, portrayal of how they wanted to run the show, because they got a member of their community to run the show for them. And I think a lot of her portrayal of things fell flat, and she kind of really got in the face, unfortunately, of a crowd member, and they were not comfortable with that, so that didn't go very well. That was just due to where she was placed. That's nothing to do with her. That's due to how they wanted the show to run. Everyone did it. Microsoft did it where Phil Spencer was out in the crowd, and that was really difficult for him to portray that, because you've got people at that point looking around, looking straight at you, but they also don't want to look at you because that feels weird, particularly when it's on camera in front of millions. But to that end, the host of the EA's press conference did sit down with Vince Zampella of Respawn Entertainment, the guys that did Titanfall, and they're working on a new Star Wars game called Jedi Fallen Order. Now, we know nothing about this game, apart from that it's set between movies 3 and 4. That's it. Oh, and the name of the title being Jedi Fallen Order. So obviously you're going to play as a Jedi, but it's around the time when the Jedi are being hunted, so Order 66 is out. Where that goes, nobody knows. It's not coming out until like end of next year, though, so be very wary of that one. That one can change a lot. It could still even be cancelled, as has happened with another Star Wars game by EA.
The rumors are true, though. It's going to be a first-person shooter, which is going to be somewhat interesting for the franchise.
I actually don't...
There's been first-person shooters out before for Star Wars.
Yeah, I
Not
mean Battlefront
ones
2.
that
but
are as story driven as what Respawn has done before, or like the guys at Respawn have done in the past with games like Call of Duty and Titanfall 2.
But those were multiplayer first experiences, and the story was kind of tacked on at the end.
Could say that.
I mean, Titanfall 1, Respawn did that too, and there was no story whatsoever in that. It was a multiplayer only game. So we'll see what happens there. There's no information out about it at this point. Vince Zampella only basically gave a name because LucasArts told them he could. But he couldn't say anything about the game because none of it's actually been worked out yet. Very much work in progress. Then comes the best part of EA's press conference. They were talking about Star Wars Battlefront 2. The game that came out last year and copped a lot of criticism for their bullshit. Oh my god, they actually got up on stage and admitted that they fucked up royally. They were like, yeah, we reworked our progression and stuff like that because it didn't really hit the mark. So basically, I took that as you fucked up and now you're admitting it. Good job. I mean, to be fair, they kind of royally screwed the pooch on that one, and Disney came down on them and basically said, we're releasing a movie, you cannot screw this for us. Fix it now. So the day before it went live, they got rid of all their microtransactions. But everyone had already played it. Because open betas are a thing, which aren't betas. They just play early now.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the thing.
What happened there?
A lot of betas these days aren't betas because they have no time to fix any of the issues found between the beta coming out and the game launching.
Public testing on a grand scale.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. But even then, they can't fix anything. They don't have time. Their public open beta comes out the week before it launches, and you have no time to fix a patch up for it. Unless you're working the entire team through, like, around the clock through the week. And even then, you may not even get a patch ready in that time.
Fuck, check what the fuck it goes on about in the chat.
Studio mode. I have no idea.
I don't know, is it? This is your eyes are green or something.
I mean, maybe.
E3 eyes.
I can't see because I can't be looking at the. Wait, hang on.
I don't know what the hell he's on about.
No, I can't see it.
Reflection in the eyes. That's it.
Yeah.
Probably.
Okay. So moving on. So there's a couple of bits and pieces that have come out in the Star Wars Battlefront 2 stuff, including new large-scale multiplayer capital ship capture modes. That'll be very interesting to see. That's what a lot of the community have been after for a very long time. They were disappointed it wasn't in it at launch. So now that we're seeing it, cool. V-Looper, no. I left in like mid-December.
I just said that.
Then we've got stuff for the Clone Wars coming and stuff like that. Now, Brownmeister, have you played Unravel? Sounds like it's a game up your alley.
I
It's
completed
fun
the first game actually when it came out last year. It was the game I pre-ordered and finished.
Yeah. So straight up, Unravel 2. Nobody saw that coming.
Already released. They released it that day, didn't they?
Yeah, basically, it's akin to what I would consider like a the Brothers game. So you've got two players on the same screen. Army of Two kind of game. You've got two players. You're all on the same screen. You've got to work together to continue. Couch co-op kind of game. Allows you to pick the other character up. So if you're playing solo, you can kind of pick them up and move them, and then drop them when you need to puzzle your way through.
I'm gonna time them out.
Then we saw Yeah, that it was available that day. The day that they announced it, that was the day that they released it, which was very interesting to see.
What are you talking about? Fallout Shadow or something else?
No, Unravel 2. The day they announced that was the day they released that.
It is 2?
Yes. So yeah, the day they announced it, which was like Saturday, they released it then. So kudos to them. No one saw that coming.
Was on Tuesday our time, wasn't it?
Okay.
This
No.
was on Monday. And
EA
they
was
always go
first. No, EA was first.
EA was first. Okay.
Mhm.
Yep. Oh, fine. Ow.
Then we've got
Ooh, this side.
a game called Sea of Solitude by Joe May. We don't know a lot about that. We know it's a game about loneliness, but what kind of game, no one really knows.
Ow. Ow.
It's basically a game. It's a personal game about trying to become more human than the monster that loneliness made you be. So we'll see what that comes out of. Next up, I have a trailer that I want to show you because this thing is a fucking piece of shit. Alright, so this video at current point has been upvoted 1,800 times. It has been downvoted 44,000 times, and it's a new Command & Conquer game. Let's have a watch of the trailer, shall we?
Oh, I haven't seen the trailer for this.
I should actually reactivate my mic and Discord. If I was to say mobile game on that, would you agree?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I got downvoted to shit.
Yeah, definitely mobile game.
First impressions, like at the start of it, it doesn't look like a mobile game. It looks like a general Command & Conquer game, and then all of a sudden it switches to mobile, and it's like, wow, that's unexpected, and that's effed because, well, mobile, it's one of those city building, money grabbing, wait forever kind of games. But
It's not. It's really not. You can play the entire game in about 5 minutes. But it's PvP, 2 bases at either end of the screen, and something in the middle. And a missile tower in the middle with 3 compounds. You go into the compound with a number of lads. If you've got the most lads in that compound, you own it. If you own it after X amount of time, then you launch a missile at your opponent. First to 2 missiles wins. Simple enough. Quick enough. Why the fuck would you make a Command & Conquer game on mobile? Command & Conquer is a PC game. Similar to, like, it's a strategy game. It's a PC game. So, why are we seeing this come to mobile? The Command & Conquer series is dead, right?
You really think it's not going to work on mobile?
I don't think it'll work as well on mobile. It's not gonna have the same gameplay. You can't have that gameplay on mobile. They basically grabbed a franchise that they had and went, people want this to come back. Let's make a money grab. I mean, we're still talking EA here. And I'm just not a fan of how they did that, because people want Command and Conquer again. The game hasn't been released in a number of years. When was the last Command and Conquer game? Jesus.
Tiberium was like 2010-ish.
I have that on 360.
Yeah, so Command and Conquer as a strategy series.
There was an online city building one that looked like it was more mobile, as mobile games go, released after Tiberium Twilight. I just can't remember what it was called though.
Okay.
So
That's right. So Tiberium Twilight, not Tiberium Wars. Tiberium Wars was 3. But speaking of Command & Conquer 3, wasn't that the bad guy at the end of that trailer?
Kane.
Yeah, Kane. That's what I thought.
Tiberium Alliance is 2012.
Kane's Wrath. Yeah, that's what I thought
Yeah.
was. I'm like, who the fuck are you? You're supposed to be. Aren't you supposed to be dead? But that being said, there is actually a Command and Conquer game that did come out after that. It came out in 2014, but it was fan made. It was a fan made game called Command and Conquer Renegade. They did get approval from EA to release it in 2014. But apart from that, a mobile version of Red Alert was announced in April for by Tencent, the Chinese developer.
Actually, going back to Renegade, that actually got rebranded and released as Renegade X.
Yes, it did.
It's actually free to download. It was a UDK project.
Yeah, no, it was... Oh, yeah, it was a remake of Command & Conquer Renegade. Never mind.
Well, kind of. I think it was more of a spin-off. But yeah.
It's listed here as a remake, but whatever.
Yeah.
Then we've got the future where we've got Generals 2, which was announced in 2012.
That's been
in 2013, EA had said that the franchise will continue, but gave no further information, and it was cancelled in 2013. So that's a cancelled game, and then we've got Rivals now, which is disappointing to say the least.
Oh, what are we talking about?
Command & Conquer, still.
Oh, okay.
We're still disappointed that Rivals is a thing. Command & Conquer, a lot of people want... That's the thing. The last news that they had was 2013 when the game Generals 2 got cancelled. So we've had 6
quite
years.
A shock as well, yeah.
We've had 6 years.
Popular CNC game, so I think a lot of people were disappointed when that got cancelled.
I agree. I love Generals. But like the last game that came out was 2010. Command & Conquer 3.
Twilight, yeah.
So since then, we haven't seen anything from this franchise. It's been dead for 8 years.
Except for Tiberium Alliances, which was a browser-only game in
Wait, what?
2012.
Okay,
Is that official, though?
Yeah.
it's on Wikipedia.
But no one cares.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, Renegade X. Oh yeah, so yeah, 2012 by EA Phonemic.
Was shut down pretty much straight afterwards.
Wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, so we haven't seen a lot come out of that since realistically 2010. So we're 8 years after its last game. Disappointing.
Yep.
Moving on. There's a new Halo game coming out.
Yeah.
Called Halo Infinite.
Well, coming out is one way to put it. We don't know what state it's going to be coming out in or when.
No, it's very much a teaser. We don't know anything about it. We know that it's in the new engine called Slipspace, but beyond that, we know nothing.
Okay, check chat. I'm reading something about it now.
Okay, so what's all this then?
I think I've read that article.
So basically, I'm just gonna continue while I'm reading. The statement was like Fallout went from 4 to 76, and then Halo's like, hold my beer. Halo 5, Halo Infinite. But then again, Bioshock did Bioshock 2, Bioshock Infinite, so kind of a little bit further. We'll see how that goes. There's not a lot of news on that front, though, so we are waiting a while before we get more information on that one there.
I just like the fact that they're going to be releasing it on PC. Finally, we get a Halo game again.
Right? Holy shit! Holy shit, we've been waiting for a PC port for Halo. Bye. We've been waiting for a PC port of Halo. See, okay, Halo 2 got ported, but it was a bad
Halo 2
port.
was the last one, yeah.
Yeah, it was a bad port.
No, it was good.
Were you aware of the menu problem?
I never had the menu problem.
The menus never actually changed because you were using a keyboard and mouse. It was still X and Y and all of the Xbox controller buttons.
Yeah.
Like, you're on PC. What? All the highlighting and all the menus, like, down the bottom will say, press X, press Y to do things. And it was like, but I'm not using an Xbox controller. I'm using a keyboard and mouse. So, we don't know anything about that. But finally coming to PC, it's only been about time.
Actually, no. I just remembered, it's not the last one to come to PC. It's the last campaign to come to PC, yes. But there was the Halo Forge thing. But that was...
Halo 5 Forge,
Yeah, they
that
weren't really...
really doesn't count.
That didn't count.
That's like ODST. It is a Halo game, but it's more of a spin-off Halo game.
Yeah.
I liked
was a
ODST.
Halo game than the Forge for Windows
I
10.
like ODST as well.
Yeah, no, Forge for Windows
I'm
10
not
was
saying
just...
it's a bad game. I'm just saying that it was more of a spin-off game because it doesn't follow the Master Chief storyline.
Yeah, I'll pay that. It doesn't follow Master Chief storyline, but it does a very different... It's trying to do a very different thing. But that being said, it fit the franchise, so I'm actually quite happy with ODST. ODST was a fantastic game. It was a very different kind of game.
ODST definitely makes more sense story-wise if you play it basically back-to-back with Halo 3.
Yeah. Then so moving on from Halo, but after we now know it's coming to PC, fantastic. We move on and we've got Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Now, this game was announced last year, and we now know that it's coming out next year. So it's coming out in 2019. Yeah. The game is a very interesting game. I hope to see more of it. Ori was hard as hell, apparently. I never really played Ori. I'm not really a platformer, but apparently Ori and the Blind Forest pulled on your heartstrings a bit, and it made you cry. If you weren't crying at the end of Ori, something was wrong with you. So, Ori 1, so Ori and the Blind Forest. Then we've got Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, a samurai RPG that we know nothing about. Coming from Software, and it's being published by Activision, coming 2019. There was 3 samurai games, 2 in the Sony's press conference that we'll cover later, but there were 3 in total, and we know very little about all of them, realistically. Except maybe one of Sony's might actually do something, and I do not remember which one. Ghost of Tsushima is the only one that we might know something about, which is a Sony game. Now we're going to quickly move through a couple. We'll cover more of Fallout 76 when we get to Bethesda's conference. We're still in Microsoft's here, so they showed off some Fallout 76. Cool. We'll cover that more in a minute. Fallout 4 was mentioned briefly, but whatever. The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit that we've already covered from Square Enix, but yeah, we know very little about that. Crackdown 3. This game has been announced for way too long.
Oh yeah,
We've been
just
watching this one for 3 or 4 years now.
I think
Like,
3 years was the first announcement.
We know it's an Xbox exclusive because it's a Crackdown game. We're like 10 years after the last one. Crackdown.
looking. It was announced. I don't know when it was announced, but it was meant to be released in 2016.
Crackdown 2 was
Okay,
2010.
8 years. 8 years since Crackdown 2.
Yeah, so Crackdown 2 was released in 2010. So this is a 9-year development cycle on this one because we're not seeing it until next year.
Yeah.
We're not seeing it until like February 2019. So
That's that.
I did like last year's trailer. Last year's trailer for Crackdown was fantastic. You won't be throwing grenades. You'll be throwing cars. Was I think the statement
Or buildings.
or buildings? It's just like, yes. The trailer last year also included a semi running into the side of a building on fire as it let's blow this shit up. Very interesting. Very much a hype game. I'm actually going to play the trailer for that one because it's a really good game and I'm really looking forward to it. So here's the trailer for Crackdown 3.
Skyscraper. Commander Jackson on deck. Welcome to Crackdown 3, the only game built like me. Big, beautiful, like a skyscraper, falling at your face. If you want to play on my level, follow my lead. Somebody give me my jam. It's all about getting the jump on the enemy. No building is too high. 60 stories up, incoming! You gotta build up that raw power. Grab more, grow more, nama. Bigger, Jackson! Then you need that firepower. Homing rocket gun, bullseye. Vortex cannon, see ya! Graviton tether. Have you two met? And the most powerful weapon of all, me. And then I roll out like a boss. I can push off fools, pull up the side of a building, or even bust out my very own tank. Oh yeah. Boom shakalaka! Man, these bad guys just won't quit. They got mad scientists, and master plans. Here we go! The hits just keep on coming. Boom! Whack, mother ducker! Crackdown 3!
Okay, so Crackdown 3, I mean, it's Terry Crews. I didn't undeafen myself. So it's Crackdown 3. Crackdown 3 looks awesome. It's Terry Crews in a trailer. Yes.
That is absolutely one of the best trailers I've ever seen.
It's Terry Crews. It's always going to be the best trailer you've ever seen.
Yeah. Like, also, straight, no, I've got another one later that's fantastic. When we hit Bethesda's funny as shit. But it's Terry
I know what
Crews.
you're talking about.
Yeah, you do. It's Terry
Saw that one
Crews.
earlier.
Terry Crews is great. I love him in this. Just also the quack mother ducker. Hell yes. Hells to the yes on that one. That looks fantastic, and I'm super excited for that.
I just hope it fills in like the other Crackdowns and doesn't end up like a Duke Nukem Forever.
Oh god.
Oh god.
Why did you drag that game up?
Because Crackdown, it's one of those games where every year it's been mentioned or hyped or whatever, and it's just one of those games you have to wait and see.
I think there's like Kingdom Hearts 3 at the moment too, apparently.
Yeah, I'll pay that. Like, I can see how you can come across that. It has been hyped to the point of no return. When we come to Kingdom Hearts 3 again, holy shit. That has been hyped to hell, and that has been hyped for 5 years. When was that announced? 2013?
Something like that.
I don't know. I never played any.
We were discussing it at work in the last week, and I can't remember when that was. When we've been waiting for that. We've been waiting for that since 2, because 2 was left way open. But then we've had like 2.5, 1.5 remastered of both of them.
I think the weird thing about Kingdom Hearts 3 is that it's been highly hyped, but it's never been announced until now. Not in any official stance.
Kingdom Hearts 3 concepts began in 2006. It was announced to be... It was confirmed to be in development in 2013 at E3. We're 5 years after that point, and we're still not seeing it until next year.
And they admitted
January.
soon after that E3 that they announced it too early.
Yeah, it sounds about right. Then we've got... So moving on from Crackdown 3, we've got Nier Automata coming to Xbox. But that's been out on PlayStation for quite a while. Metro Exodus.
That game's good.
I want to see more of that game.
Metro Exodus looks pretty cool. Russian Wasteland is essentially it. If you've played any of the other Metro games, that sounds like it's the same thing. Again, still single player, no co-op on that
More
one.
of the same, but now it's supposed to be more open, which I'm really looking forward to, and I'm liking where the story is going so far.
Okay, fair enough. I'm happy. I'm happy with that. Then we've got a whole stack of like stuff on Kingdom Hearts 3, mostly just like what worlds it's going to have, including one for Frozen, Wreck-It Ralph, Tangled, Monsters Inc., Hercules, because Herc. He's been in pretty much every single Kingdom Hearts games, at least 1 and 2. Toy Story.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean. Pirates of the Caribbean. Pirates of the Caribbean, though. That's a very interesting one, too, because it's very much like ship combat akin to what we saw in Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. So that's where I'm very excited for this. I'm just going to quickly try and find something. Frozen. Tangled.
Delay because of all those extra worlds and characters and stuff.
So there's an image going around of a screenshot comparison between Kingdom Hearts 3 and the movie for Tangled. Damn close is all I can say. Although I don't think I'll be able to find it now. Nope, found it. I just want the image. Open the image in a new tab. So this... On the left is the game, on the right is the movie, and how damn close does that look? Like, that's impressively close. That's for a video game to a film. I'm impressed, is all I can say.
Taking so long.
I will say it is animation to animation.
Yes, but video game animation is different than regular animation. So to get that level of accuracy, I'm impressed. I'm really excited for that. Like that's impressive. But we also know that it's coming to Xbox for the very first time for the franchise, and we know it's coming out January 29th of 2019. So we're still got to wait another 6-7 months until that's out. But finally, we have a release date. After 5 years of waiting, we finally have a release date. And it's coming out in the next, like, E3 year. So the next financial year for Australians. About time, is all I can say. We've been waiting for this for a very long time. Okay, I'll deal with that. No. Logo. Okay, so I flipped my camera so that when I look over at chat and at things, I can see your Discord stuff. Yeah. No. Okay, so we know that Kingdom Hearts is coming. Sea of Thieves has got some content updates coming out in September and July. September has a update called Forsaken Shores, which is a new map area. When Sea of Thieves came out, there was a lack of content, which was disappointing. Hopefully they can do some more about that. But I think they've hit a problem where there's nobody left. So with there being nobody left, there's not a lot of content to do, which makes it very difficult to do anything. So that's disappointing. The game launched with such potential, but there was just no content. So that was very disappointing.
Yeah.
Battlefield.
I know the Division was like that too.
I
came back a bit.
I mean, it's done by Rare. Rare's generally known for games that are like collectathons, so like Banjo-Kazooie and stuff like that.
I wish they would just make the third game in that series and just go back to the classics. Go back to that classic style of gameplay that they were well known for.
They ruined all that though Microsoft ruined all that.
Microsoft ruined it, yeah.
Yeah, so I can't. There is some gameplay for the new Spyro.
Ooh.
I am hyped. We actually have gameplay for the first time, and it looks pretty good, but I can't show it off because it's going to be way too long. So these videos are like 7 minutes, so that's not going to help us.
I just like the fact that it's Spyro back again being Spyro and not the Skylanders.
Yeah,
I have that on pre-order
absolutely.
already.
Skylanders was shit. Also, like, anything after Spyro 3 was also pretty terrible. Spyro 1, 2, and 3 were good, okay, and meh, but anything after that was just fucking terrible. I love Spyro 1.
The best thing about Spyro 2 and 3 were the cheats that you could put in to play Crash demos.
And then Crash came out and basically gave you the opposite.
Spyro's 1, 2, and 3, you could put cheats in to play the demos for Crash Bandicoots 1, 2, and 3. I think.
Okay.
Or was it 1, 2, and
Nice.
Crash Team Racing or something like that?
Whereas I know that, like, when they re-released Crash Bandicoot, they gave you a trailer for Spyro. So that was really nice. But that they put that in as a patch, so that was disappointing. But because just to the level of you release a game, it's not finished. You will patch it several times before it's ready for consumption at a mass market level.
Anyway, we should stop that discussion because
Yes.
on the list of announcements is a Crash Bandicoot thing.
Yeah, we'll get to that. So then we're still in Microsoft going through Battlefield 5, whatever, don't really care. A new Forza Horizon game, Forza Horizon 4. I know a few people here are very happy about that. October 2nd, 2018.
It's sooner than I thought it would be.
Yes. It's also set in Britain, very interestingly.
Yep.
I'm surprised it took them that long, considering that the developers are British.
Yeah.
Like, how did that take so long?
Well, considering 2 was set in, I think it's like the France or Italy area.
Europe.
Yeah, it's in Europe somewhere.
That's at least part of it.
Yeah, so I know that when this game, so Forza Horizon 4, I actually should also mention that Crackdown's doing the same thing. The day they release, it's going on Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah.
So you pay $10 and you can play it for a month. $10-15 and you can play it for a full month. So that's pretty cool. I don't want to pay $100 for a game that I may not enjoy. So paying for Game Pass is fantastic. It lets me play other games that otherwise I wouldn't normally play. But yeah, open world racing. It looks fairly hectic too, because like everybody's in that same world together, and there's a scene in their gameplay of it where one player is driving straight in an intersection, straight at it, and then there's another group coming at it from a different angle, and they just intersected and just went like AI. Like he split cars and didn't hit them. I'm impressed.
Oh, all cars in that game with driving around are players.
Yes, very much so. Then again, Forza is known for the Drivatar comments, so the Drivatar stuff. So we'll see more about that as that comes out. But yeah, every player in the world every car in that world is another player.
I don't know about in the races though, but definitely driving.
I'm
around.
hoping not, because like I would like to just see regular AI. I loved the crew for that. But whatever, we'll see more of that later.
I don't know. Who knows?
Microsoft also, moving on, Microsoft's picked up 4 new studios.
5. Well,
5.
4 and a new one.
5. The Initiative, Undead Labs, Playground Games, Ninja Theory, and Compulsion Games. I cannot remember what any of those guys did apart from Compulsion Games, which I'll cover in a minute.
Well,
Playground
Undead Labs was from State of Decay.
Oh, okay.
Which I'm surprised that actually wasn't done sooner, considering the first one was also an Xbox One console exclusive.
And I think Playground Games was already owned by Microsoft.
No, they've picked it up as a first-party dev now. But they might have released like PlayStation, Xbox exclusive titles in the past, and I
think they were more of a.
of course they did. They're the guys behind Forza Horizon.
Yeah,
behind Horizon. But I think they more collaborate with Turn 10, because Turn 10 owns the Forza license in general.
Yes.
Yeah.
Turn 10 owns the Forza, like the actual racing sim.
Yeah, Forza Motorsport.
Horizon is more of a like casual racer.
It's an arcade racer.
Yeah, very much so. That's the wording that they use. So cool. That looks cool.
I happen to be playing Forza Motorsport 7 right now.
Then we come up to the most controversial game on this list. We Happy Few.
Oh yeah.
Now, We Happy Few is on this list because it was discussed by Microsoft during their press conference. However, it's not coming to Australia.
Haha.
Because, and no, I understand why.
Oh yeah.
So when Australia got its R18 classification for video games, we knew full well that they weren't getting rid of the RC classification, which is refused classification for a number of categories like sexual violence, drug misuse, and stuff like that. Now, We Happy Few is straight up in the drug misuse category. So it straight up got an RC, and while the developer Compulsion Games is trying to appeal that, I don't expect that to work. There's nothing they can do to get this game out into the public. The game's already been out in the public, to be fair, but there's nothing they can do to censor the game at all, because it's the underlying story of the game is to basically misuse drugs. The joy drug in particular, and that's how you progress in the game. So I'm disappointed that that's the case, but it's perfectly understandable from where the classification board is coming, and we're not going to see it in Australia. So disappointing, but realistically not surprising.
If you send me money, I can send you copies.
I'd rather not. Personally, I'm not one that's interested in We Happy Few. Quasar, you can jump into the Discord, dude. You have the group.
Really?
Yeah, I gave him the group. Oh, wait. Did I give him the group?
I don't even know who that is. No, you didn't. Now he does.
Now you have the group. You can jump into Discord if you wish to join us for this conversation.
Yeah.
It's not surprising, but another game that we'll discuss a little later on is potentially going to have that problem, but it is more likely to just get censored, akin to like Saints Row or GTA.
GTA.
Every time GTA comes out in Australia, it always generally gets censored.
Oh yeah.
We generally see a censored version in Australia before full release. Hey,
Did we
Quasar.
have that problem with 5?
Yeah, boobs. There's boobs in the strip club.
I wouldn't be surprised if we had that problem with 5. I know we had the problem with Saints Row 4. We've had
definitely did, because that was before the R18 classification came in.
Yeah, South Park Stick of Truth had the same problem.
Was, yes.
Again, I think that was before the R18. No, that
No,
was the
that
first
was
game
after
that
the
got
R18.
R8. That was the first game that was censored after the R18. Right.
Still got
that-
it anyway for something else.
One of the scenes that like it's they instead of just like blurring it out or whatever, they covered it up and go, your rating board sucks and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know how that got through after that anyway.
It's called parody.
Yeah, pretty much. So they covered it up with a crying koala. Is basically the situation with that. Not surprising in the slightest. I mean, it's South Park having a go at their own content. I'm okay with that.
And Saints Row turned their drug fueled thing into alien abduction thing, and
Didn't they get rid of one of the missions too?
They took out Shondi's loyalty mission.
Yeah.
they took out. No, they modified that.
No, they took it
No,
out.
they took it out.
completely.
Oh no, they took that out, and you unlock Chandi with and
Yeah.
then there was the DLC penetrator weapon.
Yep.
I do
That sounds like a
remember
giant
that. It was straight up. I do remember that.
I've got all the DLC for Saints Row, except for the penetrator weapon, and it doesn't have a purchase thing, and it says purchase available worldwide except Australia.
Because sexual violence is how that would get RC.
But it's only Australia, it's not any other country.
There are certain games that I know that Postal 2, when that was originally developed, that got RC'd in Australia. It got pulled from shelves in the UK. It was
Yeah.
that bad.
Yeah. That was released back in like 2003 as well. That's an
Yeah,
old
like-
game.
But that one had the case where you could basically just shove someone in a toilet and piss on them, like
Yes.
on their corpse. Like that was it was offensive for the sake of offensive. So no wonder that got RC'd.
We don't have that problem anymore though, because we can still buy that on Steam these days. And GOG,
That's still
I think.
RC.
No, it's purchasable on Steam. I have
What?
it.
That's fucked because that's still RC.
I'll check. I'll have a look.
I can't. I live in New Zealand.
So then we see, moving on from compulsion games, we happy few. We're going to go with PUBG, which, yeah, okay, cool. So console exclusive launch to Xbox. Brings out new modes, new environments coming in at the end of the year. As a full release, it's already on Xbox, however, only as an early access.
Have they fixed the running issues on it yet? Last I heard, it ran real poor.
The statement was there was somebody that was driving around and they turned a corner too wide and ended up parking the car in a hallway inside a building because the building loaded
Yeah.
after they were there.
Hey Clark,
Good on you
Postal
with the
2
exclusive
and
there.
Paradise Loot for $13 on Steam.
13 for you, says 9 for me here.
That's just base game $9.99, but we're
Yeah.
Australian too, so we're
Yeah,
Yeah.
Quaz's a guy from work, so he knows what's up. So yeah, looking at all of this, PUBG, whatever. Then we've got a JRPG by Bandai Namco called Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition. So I'm assuming that's already been out for a while, but I don't know much about that one.
I know a little bit, but it is a JRPG, so
Yeah. It's a JRPG. I'm not really interested in JRPGs. We then move on with Tom Clancy's The Division 2. Now,
Which is so cool.
It looks pretty good.
if they can avoid you having to go into the dark zone, cool. Setting Washington DC. So you've kind of got, you're running around like Capitol Building and Air Force One that's been crashed onto the ground out the front of Capitol Building.
I don't even know if it has dark zones.
I wouldn't be surprised. It will have it. I can almost guarantee it.
That's probably the equivalent.
But like still the same bullet sponge mechanics where you can enter like unload like 17 clips of ammunition into the guy's face. I'm not impressed by that. That made the original game more difficult. But playing that with a couple of people,
that's gone.
I
They
don't
were
know
shooting
whether
like specific segments on him in that last fight.
Yeah. But also like they could chain things together. If you were playing solo, that fight would have taken way longer because he was just a bullet sponge.
Yeah.
I've changed the AI, so it is not as much sponge now.
We'll see what happens. With the abilities and stuff, it might help it. But again, it's very much a co-op game. You've got to play with friends.
Yeah.
Then
Sorry.
Go for it.
I was going to say the video they used made me cringe a little as well. The interaction felt really forced.
Yeah, very much
Scripted.
so. It was very scripted and forced, and it just didn't portray well.
No.
So now we've got Xbox Game Pass. We've got some stuff called like Fast Start, where games are launching twice as fast. The Master Chief Collection is coming to Game Pass, so that means anyone can play that without having to buy that game for full retail. Cool. New games are coming to it, so Ashen, Total Hammer Vermintide 2, Afterparty, and Phoenix Point are all coming in the next couple of months to Game Pass. Available now are The Division 1, Elder Scrolls Online, and Fallout 4. So if you don't already own any of those games, get Game Pass and you're welcome to play those without having to go out and buy them at full retail. Although that being said, you're more likely to keep paying for it because ESO is like a multiplayer game. It is an MMORPG, so whatever there. Now we're going to go, after this, we're going to go to a trailer, or, well, it's more of a montage, just to go through all of the ID at Xbox stuff. There's a lot of games to cover, and for me to cover this properly, it would just be best to go through the montage that they showed off during their press conference with all of the independent games from Xbox. mics.
Oh,
Damn it.
speaking of muting.
Yeah. There's quite a lot of games in that we did see. I actually didn't list all of them, apparently. As I was going through, I'm like, I know I just covered Tunic later. Why did I not cover it in ID at Xbox? So we missed a few in there. They did cover, like, Xbox's goal was to cover 50 games in their hour and a half. So the ID at Xbox lets them churn through about 20 games in, like, 2 minutes. So, but we see a lot of games in there that I'm actually excited for. There's a couple in there called, like, Fringe Wars and Outer Wilds that I don't know anything about, but I'm curious. But there's a few in there that are just straight up, I know nothing about these, and unless they cover them more, or I see more about them, I don't know anything. I don't know whether I'll even look into it, to be honest. A lot of RPGs and, like, very much indie games that I don't think I'll pay much attention to, just because I don't think I'll have time.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember everything that was shown there, because it's a real shotgun sort of, a lot of stuff real quick. There's a couple stuff I like the art styles looked for though.
Yeah, so a couple of the art styles and stuff, like, that's ultimately what's going on with the ID at Xbox showcase, is they'll show off a stack of games all at once, and then expect you to just kind of work out what you want to play out of that. I can pick up probably 2, but they were early on in that as well. But there's a few in there that everyone will find most people should find something in there that they can at least enjoy. Out of the 20 games that they rapid fired off in literally 2 minutes.
Yeah, not as many battle royales as I'd expect.
There is Islands of 9 battle royale.
There was one, I think, but
yeah.
not as many.
Yeah, so after that we saw more of the Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which the gameplay for that looks all right. I'm actually impressed by the gameplay for that, but not much more than that. The trailer itself didn't give me enough, but the gameplay looks cool. That's yellow.
Rise of the Tomb Raiders is good too.
Okay, so yeah, I haven't played a lot of the Tomb Raider games, so I have to go back and actually play them properly. But until then, it's going to be a while. Unless we can catch them on Game Pass, so we'll probably get them through on Game Pass at some point.
Game Pass, they are both on Game Pass.
Yeah.
So we've got both sort of Xbox through that.
Then we saw a new game by Creative Studios, which is a skating game called Session. We know nothing about that game, but it looks cool. First skating game in a while.
Yep.
The last skating game that we saw was the new Tony Hawk, and that game flopped hard. Tony Hawk 5, I think. And that game flopped really hard because the controls weren't there. It didn't work. There is a game that I saw on Reddit, actually, where somebody's rolling around in roller skates with a shotgun, so that looks interesting, but that's very much in dev. Then we saw...
Rolling around on roller skates with a shotgun sounds like fun.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, but it's straight up in dev. Like, it showed them doing like a half pipe landing and then rolling up on a guy that was shooting at them with a rifle, and then they shot them in the face with a shotgun. That was it. And it was very much in dev versions, but none of this professionalism. Black Desert, which has been out for a few years. It's the MMORPG. It's very grindfesty. It looks very pretty, but apparently it's very much a grindfest. So don't know much about that there. Devil May Cry 5. The super violent game that is coming out spring 2019. Spring in the US. So early in the year. I know nothing about that, and I'm not really that interested in games that are super violent, so I'm probably going to give that one a miss. You have something to say? Michael?
No. I've never been a fan of the Devil May Cry franchise.
Right here. Cuphead. Michael, you have something to say on Cuphead?
I had high hopes for Cuphead before it came out. Those hopes went away when it did.
Yeah, you were really hyped for Cuphead.
I was
And
really hyped for Cuphead because I really liked the art style of that game, and I thought it was going to be a fun experience. But because the game was designed to be difficult, that took the fun out of it for me.
yeah,
So I was I was the other way with Cuphead. I wasn't super hyped for it, but when it came out, I picked it up because again, the art style, the music, all of that is on point. And I really enjoyed playing through it. It was a really enjoyable game for me. I think they've done a good job to grab that as an exclusive.
yeah, very much so. I know that game has been critically acclaimed as very, very good, very difficult, yes,
I can get Cuphead on Steam.
but yeah, it's not a game for me either. But they're releasing new playable characters and a new DLC, so. Then we've got Tunic, which is a indie RPG, console
Legend
launch
of
exclusive.
Zelda-like.
Hmm?
Tunic, Legend of Zelda-like.
Yeah, early Legend of Zelda. Not the new one.
Yeah.
Jump Force, which is a fighting game, which includes all your favorite anime characters from your childhood, like Naruto, Dragon Ball, Z, One Piece, and more. I'm not a fan of fighting games, so that's gonna be missed. I'm gonna miss that one. I also never watched any of those animes, so coming out 2019, Bandai Namco. Fighting games aren't really my deal, so
I might pick it up just to play in parties with friends and stuff. I don't really play fighting games much myself, but a lot of us have watched most of those animes.
yeah.
But I need to see some actual gameplay of it before I make a decision there. It was all sort of cutscene stuff, cinematic stuff.
Yeah, very much so. It's very much, we don't know anything there. We know it's a fighting game. We know there's a bunch of characters, but not much beyond that. Next up is Dying Light 2. Dying Light 1 was alright, but Dying Light 2 looks way better. Because Persistent World, you have to make some choices and it changes how the world plays out in the end. There's a scene that they were playing out in the showcase, which covered off a water tower, and you were sent off to go liberate the water tower, but you could actually choose to work with them, which meant that the area was worth less. It had a higher crime rate, but you owned the water source, and you became rich because of it, but more crime rate in the area. Or you could liberate it, and like trade and commerce and stuff picks up, but the group that liberated it rules with kind of an iron fist of law. So very interesting kind of concept. I'm curious. Co-op gameplay though, so I'm excited. I will play that one probably when that comes out. The next game on the list is actually a meme. GameStop gets these calls every year just after E3. Hey, do you have the new Battletoads game? That's finally been announced. So now GameStop can turn around and go, hey, do you have the new Battletoads game? Not yet, but you can pre-order it. So we'll see more of that come out, but we know nothing there. But it's apparently 3-player couch co-op with a 2019 release window. So we know very little about it though at this point. Just Cause 4, which we've already discussed. Gears of War is the next one. Now, Gears of War, in this case Gears 5, they announced it with pop vinyls. So there's new pop vinyl characters that are coming out, and the Gears characters, cool. That's not really gaming related, but whatever. Then they announced a Gears 5, which is a new Gears of War game. Akin to like the rest of the Gears games, so Gears 4, but different characters. So you're not playing as Marcus. You're playing as one of his colleagues, and while they're going off and doing their own story. So we'll see how that goes.
I haven't seen anything about this. Is it the same protagonist from Gears of War 4?
Gears of War 4 lets you play as Marcus, yeah?
No, it was Marcus's son, but I don't remember his name.
No, I don't think so. Maybe. I don't really know. I didn't really play Gears of War 4.
No, I didn't either. I've got it, but I never played it.
But yeah, like, person was given a direct order and they went, nah, I'm done. I need to do this. And so they defied the direct order and went off to do their own story. So, and that's what Gears 5
I'm gonna
is.
look it up quickly.
There's also a mobile game called Gears Tactics that I know nothing about because I missed it during the show. Didn't see it at all. Now, while Michael looks that up, thank you, Sinister Surge, for the Raiders. With those eight Raiders there. Legend. We're currently discussing E3. We've got about 40 minutes left of the stream, and then I have to go to bed because I have to be up at Sparrow's Fart, also known as 5:45 in the morning. Now, I'm going to cut through to this one with no introduction, apart from the end of the Microsoft press conference was fucking fantastic, because it literally ended with, and welcome, and have a nice E3. And then this played.
In 2077, they voted my city the worst place to live in America. Main issues, sky-high rate of violence, and more people living below the poverty line than anywhere else. Can't deny it, it's all true. But everybody still wants to live here. This city's always got a promise for you. Might be a lie, an illusion. But it's there, just around the corner. And it keeps you going. It's a city of dreams. And I'm a big dreamer.
So we saw that come out at the end of the Microsoft press conference, and basically, like, it hacked the conference. It went really well. We haven't seen anything about this game in years. I've been excited for this game for way too long.
Yeah.
Hey, Clark.
Yeah.
Why did you not tell me before today that trailer had come out?
Because it was a surprise, and it was a very good surprise.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. The moment that trailer started, it went all red and hackery-ish. At the end of the press conference, it literally went, and welcome to E3, and have a great E3. And he just cut off because the show was being hacked, and he's like, what the fuck? This is Phil Spencer, Xbox head.
Yeah.
I mean, it's part of the show. It was queued up, ready to go. And then they played that, and that was fantastic, because everyone really wants to see more of. We really want to see more of the Cyberpunk 2077 stuff. Super excited. No release date.
Almost vaporware. Almost.
Huh?
Almost vaporware.
No,
Well,
not
it's
quite. Last I'd heard, they said they would have nothing out before 2020, so that assumes maybe a couple of years left in development.
It is a CD Projekt Red game, so the moment that came up on the screen, everyone just went nuts. I went nuts.
I would have gone nuts had I been watching it live.
Yeah. When CD Projekt Red came up on screen, that was what I needed to see. Because I've been excited for this game for a while. It looks awesome. We're not seeing enough of it. But it's CD Projekt Red. CD Projekt Red has basically turned around and said it'll be out when it's ready, and nothing else. Knowing that they're the guys behind The Witcher I don't expect anything less from them.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No,
They're the
that
guys-
game is going to be well optimized for sure.
Yeah, The Witcher was a game that launched almost perfectly. There wasn't much
Absolutely.
need for a patch because the game just worked, which is something that a lot of games don't do. We see a lot of games that release and they need 17 patches to get through to an actual working state. I mean, Batman Arkham City, that game still doesn't work from
I
memory.
think they
Yeah,
even
Arkham Knight.
Arkham Knight, they removed it from the store. It was that bad. But like with CD Projekt Red generally releases great games. I don't need to care much more. They don't even know how big the world is. They have no idea because they haven't stitched it together yet. Although there was one.
It was double Witcher 3, I think.
They haven't said because they don't know.
It
They
could
haven't
even
put it together.
potentially be bigger than that now.
There's an interesting comment here.
Oh, actually, I can.
Do you remember Ciri from the Witcher series? Alright. The character Ciri, Geralt's apprentice, has been to the world of Cyberpunk 2077.
I know nothing. What?
Ciri
Same thoughts exactly.
has been to the world of Cyberpunk 2077. Let me see if I can find that out. Ciri...
Those stories are set, what, a couple of 100 years apart?
Yeah,
But a witch
I'm just going to let this play in the background. You can listen to it.
forgets to care for his blade.
Yeah, used to it.
Your left eye.
Another addition to the collection. Nothing
Just going to
special.
skip ahead a bit here.
We lifted the curse. You trust him? Zavalok helping you.
Avalok tried to teach me what everyone wants. Control of my powers. His homework, he needs to bring it.
I'm still trying to find it.
Exactly.
How do you ever start traveling?
I fled through. It was then that Avalok appeared.
The world
Here we
where
go.
Eridan couldn't find you. What was it like?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
Try me.
People there had metal in their heads. Waged war from a distance. Using things similar to megascopes. And there were no horses. Everyone had their own flying ship instead.
Siri, stop fooling around.
Told you wouldn't believe me. We should have stayed there.
Everyone had metal in their heads. Everyone had a flying ship. Everyone waged war from a distance. She's been to Cyberpunk 2077.
Nothing came on screen.
No. It was playing in the background as audio.
I couldn't hear that at all. I don't realize you're playing the audio.
Like this is the scene. They're sitting there by a fire, talking to each other. So, very, very curious to see more of that. I just closed my window.
But a witcher never.
So we'll see more of that coming out. Really cool to see some more Cyberpunk 2077. More of that would be nice, but they're not ready to show. Which I'm fine with. They need to be ready to show it.
I have actually read an article about the demon nudity, so.
So yeah, there's a couple of bits and pieces, like, they've basically turned around and said, like, say, loot boxes or anything like that, and they were like, in a single player game like this? No. Never. No, I think the correct statement was, in a single player RPG, are you insane? Was their correct word, was their wording for it.
Read that.
Okay, that's not the piece I saw, but whatever.
Close enough.
Moving on to Bethesda. We saw Rage 2, where
Yay! Fucking finally!
Yes.
the
I'm
music
excited.
number for that fell so flat on the audience.
Skipped that when I was watching it
Yeah.
earlier today.
Oh, it was so bad to watch. It just fell completely flat against everybody in the audience. It just didn't
Yeah.
work.
Yeah,
But open world vehicular slaughter looks good. Don't get me
Yep.
wrong. I'm not entirely sure about it though, personally.
Collaboration between id Software and Avalanche Studios, I'm all in.
Yeah, it looks good. Don't get me wrong. I'm just not 100% sold on it yet. I may end up getting sold on it later. But
I'm getting that.
Yeah. The Elder Scrolls Legends, being the card game that it is, is being released later this year on Switch, Xbox One, and PS4. Free on PC, mobile, and tablet now. If you save it once on any device, you'll be able to pull that save across on any other device. Thank God. But that being said, it's cross-platform saves, not cross-platform play. So, Elder Scrolls Online Somerset has a new story DLC called Murkmire coming out later this year, and a dungeon DLC called Wolf Hunter coming out, which is based on werewolves. But beyond that, we don't really know much. That's coming from ZeniMax. A new Doom game. Michael?
Yeah,
Yep.
so this, to me, is the E3 winner. The 2016 version of Doom is my favourite game of all time. Currently, I'm excited for Doom Eternal. I'm just sad that they didn't announce more.
Yeah, they didn't. They pulled all of the information from it, basically saying, hey, there's a new Doom game. It's coming. We don't know when. More information will be out in August at QuakeCon.
Yeah, and they're going to live stream that as well. I'm just hoping that they evolve SnapMap, actually. I'd like to see more announcements around that.
That's fair.
Maybe we'll play
SnapMap
that.
was a really cool idea that I would like to see more of. Just being able to like customize maps to that level of detail, but also just like make them really quickly so you can just play with your friends was also really nice. Moving on from that, because we're talking QuakeCon at this point, Quake Champions. Tournaments coming at QuakeCon and DreamHack Winter. It's fast-paced action shooter. Open beta for a week is available now. But be quick because it won't be available for long. It was only available for a week. So you've only got a couple of days left. On Quake Champions, I'm not a huge fan of Quake Champions, so yep. Prey.
Quake Champions feels very different to the Doom reboots, for sure. I've played both in multiplayer and had a preference for Doom when I was playing it during the beta.
They expect, what they want is they're trying to get more of a, it's more of a Twitch shooter, more of an action,
very much, yeah,
action-based Twitch shooter. I mean, that's Quake. That's always been Quake. So, these guys are the same guys behind like Unreal Tournament and stuff like that. So, that level of gameplay. So, I'm not surprised. I hope to see more about that, but we'll see later in the year.
Unreal Tournament was done by Epic.
Yeah, this correct. But it's the same kind of game, is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of gameplay. That fast-paced action combat. So
yeah.
Next we've got Prey, which came out last year, I think, with a new update, including which has New Game Plus and a survival mode.
Actually, I think that was last year. You might be right.
I never played it, but yeah, they've added New Game Plus that they kind of added because of fan feedback. New DLC called Moon Crash, which is just repeating over and over and over again.
With randomization.
With randomization turned on, yeah. Typhoon Hunter, which is a head-to-head mimic players versus a hunter. Think of it like 5v1 OBJ hunt from...
It's, prop hunt.
Prop hunt, yeah. So, that's ultimately what they're expecting there. Cool. Good idea for that one. I'm not necessarily a fan. Of, like, Prey, though. That's not my kind of game. Because it's more of a horror, like, psychological thriller game. So it's not my type of game.
Unlike the original Prey, yeah.
I mean, yeah, Prey's just not my game. Moving on, we've got limited information about Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus. Michael, I know that you're a fan of the Wolfenstein series.
I am. I've still yet to play the Wolfenstein 2 DLCs, but Machine Games came out at E3 to announce Wolfenstein Young Blood.
Yes.
Where you play as Blazkowicz's two twin daughters.
Mm-hmm.
which will be interesting, and that's going to introduce co-op gameplay for the first time since Machine Games took over the franchise.
Yes, which will be very interesting. It's set ahead of what Wolfenstein 2. No shit, because they're Blazkowicz's daughters. It's coming 2019, so we'll see what happens there. But of course, Wolfenstein 2 is coming to Switch in this month.
Yeah,
in like 2 weeks, end of June, so June 29th, along with everything else. So next up, we've got a couple of VR experiences. There's a competitive mode in Prey that's in VR. Prey's single player, or at least a single player experience in the Prey universe, is coming to VR. There is a Wolfenstein VR game called Cyberpilot. So, very interested to see what that one is.
We know nothing about that yet.
Okay, I'm going to skip over Fallout 76 because we're probably going to be on that for the next 20 minutes. Just for this one trailer.
Oh, please show the one that I think you're going to show.
Yeah, we're doing. So, okay. To preface this, they knew what was coming. It became a meme. Basically, it was Todd Howard standing up on stage going, yeah, so I think the most commonly asked question that we're ever going to get is, so what's Skyrim coming to next? And this is what they showed.
The Elder Scrolls speak of the past and the future. Now, Skyrim looks to the future, to its ultimate version.
Alexa, play Skyrim.
You're level 57 and see a tall snowy mountain.
Climb it.
Now, Skyrim and life become one.
A mud crab scuttles towards you.
Fusroda!
I didn't catch that.
Fusroda!
I didn't quite catch that.
Fusroda!
Your shout echoes all the way to Sovngarde.
What happened?
Fusroda. That's the command for knocking things over.
Is there a command for picking shit up?
Haven't reached that level yet.
I'm sworn to carry your burdens.
Ooh.
The dragon unleashes fire breath on you.
Okay.
You have 7% health left.
Oh, shit. I drink a health potion.
You are out of health potions.
How many wheels of cheese do I have left?
473.
Okay, I eat all the cheese. I eat all of the cheese. All of the...
Hey, hun. Remember what the doctor said about dairy?
Yes. Right, yes, of course. You're the greatest. Thank you so much. I ate all of the cheese.
Introducing Skyrim, very special edition. Also coming soon to Etch-a-Sketch, Motorola Pagers,
Oh, shit.
and your Samsung Smart Refrigerator.
Isla Noose. Oh, that's cool.
Okay, so they announced Skyrim very special edition for the Amazon Alexa. The greatest part about that is that everybody thought it was a joke. But lo and behold, it's not a joke.
Wait, they actually have it on the Alexa?
Yes!
It was a joke that they actually went through with.
Hang on. It's Amazon Skyrim very special
Wait,
edition.
that's a real thing?
Yes!
Because I thought the same as those guys.
Hang on. That's not it. I'm trying to load the page. Straight up, it is an actual thing. Check chat. Straight up. Skyrim Very Special Edition, according to Amazon.
So next year they're going to announce it for the Apple and the Google versions.
It depends on the integration. Like that's allowing it to be custom integrated properly. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, straight up, what the fuck?
Very good question.
Yeah, everyone thought it was a joke. Everyone straight up thought that was a joke. And lo and behold, no. No, it was not a joke. It was real.
It's a very complex marketing scheme is what it is, but it's pretty funny.
Yeah. Then they went back. So this was after they were discussing Fallout 76, but we'll just briefly smash through these. Fallout Shelter coming to PS4 and Switch, 3 years anniversary, over 120 million players. Damn.
It's a successful mobile game.
Yeah, the new Elder Scrolls mobile game called Elder Scrolls Blades, which is basically a stabbing game on rails, essentially. Looks alright.
I wasn't a fan.
Portrait and landscape mode, and then this is what got really funny. Portrait mode has been called meeting mode because you can play it in a meeting. Quasar and Brown, I don't think either of us is that stupid.
Probably not a wise idea.
No, lest you want to be fired. But straight up, the statement was, you never know when you'll... So it's came with a portrait mode because you never know when you'll need a free hand to hold your coffee. Degenerates. Yeah, you laughed because you thought the same thing that I think it was the Macca's ad many years ago. There was a Hungry Jack's ad that was very much you need a burger so big you need 2 hands to eat it.
That was
I do remember that.
There was one not that long ago, wasn't it? For the new what was it? The Grand Big Mac or whatever it was.
The Grand Mac?
Yeah, McDonald's released an ad, or someone released an ad after that. It might have been as a joke, but it was like, it's a burger that you only need 1 hand to eat because you never know when you'll need another hand. It might have been like Groin Transfer or something like that. But Jesus. Wait, this is including VR. Elder Scrolls Blazing has a VR mode.
For a mobile game?
Yeah. It's coming in the fall, so the second half of this year, for free. So we'll see what happens with that. A couple of other things here. I need to get a new trailer sorted. Reveal. So then we saw stuff from Starfield, which is a new IP space game. I'm excited. I like space games. It's the first new IP apparently from Bethesda Game Studios in 25 years. Damn. And then basically they were like, now we know everyone's been asking. And then they played.
We're also
this.
Building toward the game after that. And it's the one...
This is after Starfield.
You keep asking about.
And you can clearly see from that everyone went crazy. It was like, basically when they announced Fallout 76, the first question that they got asked was, this is nice, but it's not what we wanted. We wanted an Elder Scrolls 6. So they've got that. It's at least in development, but we don't know where it's set. We know nothing about it. It's very much a reveal trailer with no information.
Yeah.
Shame.
Very much a stop asking us, it's coming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much. It is coming. We are going to see more about that. Now let's go back a bit. Fallout 76. This is a game that's very intriguing to me. They went they went through the trailer and they were like, it's all about like hearts and minds. And they're like, yeah, welcome to the American military. Modern day American military, it's very much like hearts and minds trying to deal with like insurrections and whatnot. So when you go in to deal with military combat in a civilian environment, trying to win over the hearts and minds of the populace. 16 times the level of detail that was in Fallout 4. That's impressive.
Yeah, based on the new engine, that is very impressive.
Yeah, very much so. Because they've got a new engine which allows them to go to that level of detail. Sweet. Every character in the world, apparently, this was a quote from the reveal, but I don't agree with it, is apparently another player. I don't necessarily agree with that. It's an entire... This is what has me irked. Now, historically, we all know that Fallout, as a franchise, is a single-player game. Fallout 76 is not a single-player game. It's online, where you can come across other players in the world. Now, there's not enough information out at this point in time to say that you can play... You can play single-player, and I don't think you'll come across other players single-player, but you can't play co-op with friends in a non-single-player, in a non-shared world with other players, is how I'm reading into this at the moment.
Yeah, so I listened to an interview after where they talked to Pete Hayes about it.
Do tell.
And from what he explained, it doesn't even sound like there's a single player at all. He was explaining it in the way that the world is 4 times larger than Fallout 4. You can play the game solo. It's achievable to play solo. You don't have to play with friends. But he never really... And Todd did the same thing where he sort of danced around this, where they never said you've got a single player mode. It's you can play solo, you can succeed solo, but you can't. I don't think there's a specific single player instance. They might put that in because I imagine there is a lot of people who's going to be upset about it.
So they're leaning
it might
towards
exist.
the idea of that online instance is still always there, kind of like in Destiny, where you're in an instance whether you're with other people or not. Yeah.
And they made it sound like you shouldn't be running into people all the time. Like they're talking about putting dozens of people, like in a
they're going to cap the server size.
Yeah, there's a couple of mechanics there that are very very interesting though, because I don't agree with them necessarily because it's an always online world. Those include, so yeah, what you said is true. They're putting you in with dozens, not thousands of players. The statement was, it's an apocalypse, not an amusement park. So don't expect to be running across someone every 5 minutes. That's not going to happen. You're talking about a map 4 times the size of Fallout 4, with maybe 48 players. Okay, cool. That's not terrible, but I still would prefer to be able to do at least private servers.
They may add that. Listening to it, a lot of it sounds almost like an experiment.
Yeah.
In some respects, because it sounds like is how he wants to talk. How he's talking about is this is a role-playing game. You can be a shopkeeper. Some people will be a shopkeeper. Some people, will be this or that. And each person you see, you make that decision whether you think you want to engage them or if you want to sort of keep your distance. If you hear gunshots, maybe you don't want to head in that direction, or maybe you want to investigate it. They were going on saying that they don't want something where people, this one person's decided, I don't like you and I'm going to chase you and spawn camp you for the next hour. They don't want anything like that.
Thank
so I'm assuming
God.
I think they're putting some kind of
anti-grief
feature
system
in to at least stop that. The building sounded kind of weird in the fact that it showed in the trailer that sort of I can't remember what they called it, but it unpacks your portable building place.
Oh, the camp.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he basically said for that you can pack it up at any point and move it to other places, and if you move servers, you pack it up, go to a different server with your friends, and set that back up again. Is sort of how he explained how it worked.
Not bad.
Yeah, so I don't know if I come from playing hours and hours of Rust and games like that where, you have
Yeah.
that permanence, and you can get raided while you're offline and that sort of thing. So it doesn't bother me, but again, I think a lot of the Fallout player base isn't aren't Rust players or players who enjoy that kind of hardcore experience. So I can see why they make it a bit more like that.
Yeah, I came from playing like Ark and stuff like that, and I was playing that with my brother, and apparently they got raided while everyone was offline, and my brother was online, and he was the only person left to defend it, and he did not enjoy that day. He tried to ask for help, and no one got on, and so he had to deal with the server's biggest clan alone, and his clan leader basically yelled at him because he didn't defend it. He's just like, fuck off. What am I supposed to do? They came at me with 3 gigas. And you didn't come on to help even though you were available. So, bugger off. Not having... So, I would like the private server kind of aspect. I would like to be able to load up a game with a couple of mates and private server that shit. But by the sounds of things, you won't see a server. So that'll be very interesting to see how that works.
Yeah, I imagine it'll be similar to most sort of instance games like Destiny or that. You don't really pick a server or anything. You're just sort of thrown in one where there's other people.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what it sounds like.
That being said, there's a combat mechanic here that's very interesting. It's called nuke sites. They're leaving active nuclear weapons in the fucking wasteland. There's 16
I'll
of
some
them.
information on that.
Yeah, 16 of them in the map, and you can raid them and just do whatever you want with them.
You can launch them at, like, opponents' bases.
Yeah, see, it sounds all doom and gloom like that, but again, in this interview, how he said it is these nukes are used to spawn high-level areas more than anything else. He was going on saying, well, first of all, it's not easy to get all the codes as you'd expect. It's a whole thing to get those codes, and then it's not instant. You don't like grab it. You pick a point. If you want to nuke someone's base, it's not like you can nuke that base and they can't do anything about it. They know there's a nuke coming and they can pack up and leave. Like, it doesn't sound like it's so much about that. It's all about once that nuke hits, it changes the landscape, and all the creatures and stuff like that are buffed and drop high-level gear, high-level resources. It's a way to create high-level content areas, is how he sort of explained it.
Okay, that's not terrible. I'm just kind of afraid that it's going to get abused. Particularly
With anything
since
that's a nuke, I can see that.
Yeah, straight up. It's a nuke. I feel like people are going to push people off servers with nukes and stuff like that, so I don't want to see that. But non-reusable keys might help with that. So if it's a single-use key, you launch a nuke once and then you've got to go get the keys again. That can inhibit that a little bit more, so we'll see more about that. We do know that this game is coming in November, so the 14th of November 2018, which means, Michael, we will see this at PAX.
We will.
Which is 2 weeks before that.
Yep.
PAX is the last weekend of October in Australia, so PAX Oz. So we will probably see Fallout 76 at PAX this year.
I would not be surprised.
I would
At
no
this
no.
point,
I would
need
be
to bring
surprised if it didn't show up.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, we're talking PAX and EB Expo in the same venue. If one of those guys can't get Fallout 76 on show, I don't know what they're doing. Because, unfortunately, that's a game that is very big. We expect that to be there.
Yeah, it's going to be the most high-profile game on the show floor.
Yeah, very much so. Now, we do know, however, that this special edition includes a glow-in-the-dark map of the world. Cool.
Which is awesome.
Figures for the map, so like little figurines akin to like war planning and stuff for that map. Fantastic. And so Fallout 4, when that launched, it came with a usable Pip-Boy that you could put your phone into and like wear it as a functional Pip-Boy.
Yes.
The Fallout 76 collectible item is a power armor helmet with a voice modulator and like functional lights and all the rest of it. So that looks funky.
Resemblant of the Brotherhood of Steel armor.
Yes. Very reminiscent of that. So, power armor helmet though. And it's wearable. That's the best part about it, is you will actually be able to fit it on your head. So
Yeah, that, which reminds me of, I think it was Titanfall 2 that did the same thing with the pilot helmet.
yeah, actually. But I didn't see a lot of those go around. I wouldn't have minded that.
No, they weren't
addition.
as common.
But like the Fallout 4 Pip-Boy, that sold gangbusters. I'm hoping that they've at least been prepared for this, for the Fallout 76 version, because the Fallout 4 one, when that sold out instantly.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but when Bethesda also released, there was like the fully functional Pip-Boy that came later, which didn't need the phone attachment. That also sold out, didn't it?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, it's expensive, but that went like hotcakes.
Yeah, I mean, Fallout 4 Special Edition, the edition with the Pip-Boy, sold like hotcakes.
Yeah.
Just straight up, just sold out. It sold out within minutes. Because everyone wanted a functional Pip-Boy. It was great. This will probably sell less than that because people are going to a more digital environment for their games, but just for that, just to have a power armor helmet is pretty cool.
It's almost 100% going to sell out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Again, they create a limited supply to drum up more hype for it. And then release another wave.
Yeah. So we've got only a few minutes left, but I do need to cover some of Sony because I know that I've got a friend that does care, and I do have to give them at least some credit. I can't give them the amount of detail that I wanted to go into because it's almost 9 o'clock, which is the end of the stream. So we've got a couple of games here. They started off with The Last of Us Part 2. Looks very good gameplay-wise. But they made a very bad joke around the advertisement of that, and it was a very weird kind of setting. They started that off in a church.
Oh, man.
And I wasn't a fan of how they advertised it because they started it with the statement, "Welcome to church. Also, this covers you for your weekly obligation." That was a direct quote from the head of PlayStation. And I'm being a Christian, not a fan of that comment.
Not surprised.
Christian, I'm not a fan of that comment.
Like, it just didn't portray well in that setting. And then they they advertised The Last of Us Part 2. They showed some gameplay. And then they hung the conference for a bit, their seminar for a bit, while they picked everybody up and shifted their venue. They moved to a different building.
It was a bit longer than a bit as well. It was a good
20 minutes.
Third. It was a third of their conference was them just moving and filling in time.
Yeah, pretty much. Then they went, while they were moving, they went into like Black Ops 4, which realistically I don't care.
I don't either. That game is... The fact that they've dropped the campaign...
Yeah, it's multiplayer only.
The
Like,
most
what the fuck?
interesting choice, yeah. Well, multiplayer and zombies. They've kept that.
That's pretty much what Call of Duty was becoming anyway.
Yeah.
Slightly, yeah.
I mean, this is Treyarch too. Treyarch are the guys that invented Call of Duty Zombies. So.
Yeah. Copy paste, unoriginal garbage.
Yeah, they're bringing back 4 maps from the old Call of Black Ops, like Black Ops 1 and 2, including Jungle, Firing Range, Summit, and Slums. If you pre-order Black Ops 4, you get the maps in Black Ops 3. Why the fuck even do that? Like, I mean, yes, sure, Black Ops 3 is free on PlayStation Plus, but why? Why? You're releasing content for a game that you're not advertising towards anymore. Why do you care?
Thing is, their user base will eat it up as usual, and
yeah,
you know.
Then they went into like what was the countdown to E3, where they announced 5 games in 5 days. Starting with Tetris Effect. There's a VR mode in a Tetris game. What the fuck? Why? What's the point of having VR in a Tetris game?
I wouldn't mind VR in a Space Invaders game,
Yeah, right. Fair call.
but not Tetris.
Not Tetris though.
Nah, doesn't make sense.
Days Gone. There's nothing more about that, which is very interesting because that's supposed to be one of their bigger titles, but they displayed none of that. Twin Mirror, I know nothing about. Ghost Giant is a VR game. There's very little about that. Beat Saber, which is the VR lightsaber workout game. You play
I've
like
been watching that on Twitch.
yeah, you play like two songs of that, and you feel beat because like it's a workout. It's an actual workout. So I'm impressed.
Apparently,
that's
even
coming.
Fitbit takes it as aerobic exercise.
Not surprising. I mean, I'm actually surprised it's coming to PlayStation VR because it needs room scale VR and it needs to be responsive as fuck. And I didn't think PlayStation VR was that responsive. So
I was actually watching one guy today, and he's changed his setup. So he's put his motion controllers on the end, like on the end of a small stick, and he wields it like a twin blade lightsaber. Seems to work
Nice.
more effectively than two hands.
Fair enough. Then we have some more of Destiny 2, where there's a very dark trailer where Cade 6 is dead. No. Cade is the only character that I care about in that entire game. Franchise.
There's no way they
That's
can
why
kill
they
him
killed
off.
him off. So that you can buy it and find out exactly why he was killed off.
And Nathan Fillion has unfollowed their Destiny Twitter.
Wait, what?
Nathan Fillion has unfollowed the Destiny the game Twitter.
Okay, that's a little
hope
unsettling.
to God he's not dead. Because Cade 6 is the only character that I actually care about.
I think
Six was the only
they've
character that anyone cared about. It's the only one that had a good personality.
I have Cade on my desk at work.
He was the
All
only
right.
one that actually had a personality.
Yeah, very much so. I'm
Yeah.
like, if Ikora or Zavala died, I don't care. Honestly, like, okay, fine, it might be a little sad. Cade 6, I will end you.
I imagine it's all a marketing ploy. Again,
Yeah, I imagine as much the same.
Yeah.
they pick the character that everyone cares about the most. Oh, he's dead! Quick, let's have a look.
Huh. Okay,
Then
cool.
you first 5 minutes, he'll be back.
It's actually not surprising
better
that they're
be.
doing Cade next, considering that the first two DLCs were about Ikora and Zavala.
Yeah. So next up we have Ghosts of Tsushima.
Looks nice.
Looks to be Chinese area, but it's also like very much samurai-ish RPG elements, but I don't know much about this one. It looks cool, though, don't get me wrong. But I don't know much about this game. Made in Dreams. I didn't actually pick this up. Beyonce had to call this one out for me. All those like scenes between stuff where like it's a banana or whatever playing music, that's actually a game. And I didn't know that.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Spook, I'm actually a fan of Destiny Taken King. Destiny has great gameplay, not really great story. But the gameplay is top notch. Then we've got a control.
Sorry, Destiny has a great story. It's just rushed through.
Yes.
It wasn't fleshed out.
Yeah. Destiny 2 had a better story than Destiny 1. But whatever. Then we have a game called Control by Remedy and 505 Games. Superpower Dream game. It's very surreal. 2019 release. Don't know what's going on there.
I might pick it up. It looks kind of fun.
Yeah.
I like the idea of just being the sort of superpowered power fantasy, essentially.
Yeah. Resident Evil 2 Remaster. I'm not a fan of Resident Evil, so I'm not going to pick that up. But like when that was announced, like I'm like, oh, cool, zombies. Why is that being done again? Resident Evil. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
That'll sell well.
Yeah, it's a very critically acclaimed game. January 25th, 2019. Trevor Saves the Universe from the creators of Rick and Morty. that game will absolutely sell.
Yeah.
Just because of who created it. It's very much looking like a Rick and Morty game, but it's not. It's the same voice actors and everything, so it'll probably sell really well. Kingdom Hearts 3, Pirates of the Caribbean and stuff. Kingdom Hearts 3 on PS4 does come with Kingdom Hearts 1.5, 2.5, 2.8, and 3 all in one bundle. So...
Oh, really? That comes all in a bundle?
That can come all in a bundle on PS4, so...
Yeah,
I'm expecting that would cost more than just Kingdom Hearts 3, but... Okay, cool. That's well done.
2.8.
Now, we've got 3 more games that we're just going to cover. Death Stranding. I'm not a fan, because I don't know what the fuck is going on. It's a Hideo Kojima game, but there's no information on it. Really, like, Delivery Man with Acid Rain is what I have listed down. I have no idea what the fuck is going on in Death Stranding. So
the rain's time rain, apparently it withers you. But I also just, I don't know. I really don't care for it. I can see why people are hyped about it, but I just personally, yeah.
People are hyped about it, but he's made the mistake of not revealing gameplay yet. As far as I'm aware,
it's Kojima.
What I've been told so far is it's a 2-hour cutscene.
Yeah, that's the thing. The hype comes from it because it's Kojima, and it's pretty much...
It's Kojima and mysterious as hell.
It's his first big thing since the whole Sony shitstorm.
Konami shitstorm.
Yeah, since Phantom Pain.
Yeah, so it's the first big game since Konami's Phantom Pain bullshit. Konami has since released another Metal Gear game since then. Survival that didn't do well, so they're curious to see what Kojima will do next, and this is his next game. So it's curious. We know nothing about it. The next game on the list is called Nioh 2. I don't know how to pronounce that. Sorry. It's another samurai game. We know nothing about that either. That was very much a teaser and nothing else.
I imagine Nioh 2 will be pretty much Nioh 1, but...
I never played Nioh 1, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the fact they didn't put anything in there, I imagine it's pretty much same stuff with more, more content to it, basically.
Yeah. I'm just going to wrap this up with one more game. Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
Spider-Man does look fantastic. I'm not a PlayStation person, but Spider-Man looks fantastic.
That will be the PS4 game of this year.
It's either that or The Last of Us 2.
Last of Us 2 I don't think is releasing this year, though.
Last of Us 2. I don't have release dates. Shit.
I think Spider-Man comes out... Well, Spider-Man comes out in September, I think. But Last of Us 2, I think, comes out in 2019.
Spider-Man. Last of Us 2. We're just trying to pull the Wikipedia pages for both. I need the game.
No rating, no release date.
Just look it up on EB Games, because it's up for pre-order already. I know that much. For
yeah,
Spider-Man.
but they always put for Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man's up for pre-order.
September 7th for Spider-Man.
September 7th, yeah.
September 7th for Spider-Man? And then The Last of Us Part 2
release date yet.
No release date. So
released next year.
Well, yeah, it's probably coming out next year. So until then, Spider-Man looks fantastic. I've played some of the original Spider-Mans on PlayStation 2, I think. Fantastic. But ever since PlayStation 2, I've never been PlayStation. I've been Xbox. So even though, but it still looks like a fantastic game. The combat looks very good, very tight. Looks so good.
It looks like it's just taken directly from the Arkham games.
It looks like, taken from the Arkham games, but it also looks like it's bringing back some of the gameplay that was in the original Spider-Man games. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
And I think that's about it. That's all we have time for. Unfortunately, we're 10 minutes over stream.
I'd just like to do a special shout out to Nintendo's Smash Brothers Ultimate for bringing back the entire roster.
Except Waluigi.
Except Waluigi's never been on the roster.
Has he not? I thought he had been.
No, he's never been in a Smash game.
Except as an assist trophy.
In Brawl, I think.
Ripperino. Because, the statement was, it's like all of the Nintendo characters except Waluigi.
Although I did see this picture going around that Solid Snake's been nerfed because his butt's a bit smaller.
So yeah, that's ultimately what we've got now. I didn't see Nintendo's press conference. I never do. I don't really care for the Nintendo Direct. I know that when Square Enix did their Nintendo Direct-esque thing, it made me feel like Square Enix didn't give a fuck about their consumers. They just didn't give a fuck. So that's my personal take on it.
Yeah, Nintendo was pretty much most other places. Smash Brothers, Mario Party, Roller Coaster Tycoon coming to Switch.
That's cool.
Pokemon Switch games that they've already announced.
Yeah.
And a few other, like Monster Hunter Generations, Mario and Rabbids, Tennis.
Hey, can you double back to Mario Party?
Yeah,
okay, guys, I'm going to have to cut you off.
Information.
I have to get going, so we're going to end the stream there, ladies and gentlemen. This stream will be posted to YouTube. I'll share a link on Twitter if you want that. Do I have a Twitter button? I have a Twitter button. But the Twitter button doesn't work. Because of course it doesn't. So if you follow me on Twitter, I'll link out the video to this stream once it's up on YouTube as a post show. You can also go back on the video on demand once that's up on Twitch as well, if you want to catch any of the discussion. We started with Square Enix, ended up going through EA, Microsoft, Bethesda, and just quickly went through Sony at the end there. We missed out on covering any of the Ubisoft stuff because we just didn't have time. But guys, thank you for joining us. This has been actually one of the most viewed streams I've had since December, since I was back in Truckers MP. So thank you guys, all of you, for that. Spook, thank you for the follow, man. I do appreciate it. Just sneaking in there at the end. I do appreciate that, guys. You guys are legends for tuning in, and I will catch you on Tuesday with an unknown game at this point. If you have a suggestion for a game to play on Tuesday night's stream, please drop it in the Discord, because we need suggestions, because we ran out on Tuesday when we beat Sniper Elite 4, so...
the one I gave you?
Mini Metro.
Yeah, that one.
We probably won't be able to get 2.5 hours out of it.
Game.
Oh yeah, I like that. It's like a bit.
But we should be able to give it at least 20 minutes or so. But yeah, so we'll see what happens as we go. If you have any suggestions, please drop them into Discord, and I do appreciate it. But until then, guys, have a fantastic week, and I will catch you next time.